everyone, welcome. This is Shauna, and hopefully this is your new food and lifestyle space. Live the season life. Thank you so much for joining and for being here. I am, in a very interesting mood right now because it is snowing in Charleston, and that is very odd for Charleston. So I would show you, but as you can see, it's dark outside. So I will not be showing you, but just believe me, there's snow on the ground, and I don't know how long it's going to be here. The roads are not quite icy just yet, but I'm sure they will be by the morning because it's going to get like massively cold here. But I am, thank the Lord, warm in my home, and I've just showered. I have my skincare hot top knot in, my glasses are on, my skin, as you can see, is glowing from my skincare routine. So obviously I'm on my way to bed. Before I go to bed, I wanted to share with you a few things that I've been doing for a number of years now, literally 20 years, that have helped to keep my skin hydrated, moisturized, well maintained, especially during situations like this where the weather is super cold and super dry outside. So if that's the kind of content that you like, then let's get on to it. Get on. Let me start off by saying that I do have mild eczema. It is very well managed and maintained. There are specific changes that I've gone through and taken on that have been highly instrumental in making sure that my eczema does not flare up that much. Such as, changing my laundry detergent, getting rid of dryer sheets and using essential oils instead, and things like that. So I won't get into all that because that's not what this video is about. But just know, if you are dealing with eczema or dealing with dry skin that just does not seem to be going away, there are a lot of things. Look up eczema treatment and look up kind of things that you can do at home for eczema and dry skin management. And you'll be surprised at the things that can flare you up before you without even realizing it. Things that you've probably been using for years and didn't realize it was causing you all kinds of trauma to your skin. I have been doing this process since I was in my mid to late 20s. And I started it because I used to have these really bad itching fits on my back, to the point where if I were at home, I would literally throw myself on the floor like a fool and rub my back on the carpet like a bear scratching its back on a tree to get relief. Because it was so bad. If my husband were on the other side of the room and I would come and I would, call over to him and ask him to come scratch my back, he couldn't get to me fast enough. That's how intense the itching was. And so I finally went to the dermatologist and I'm like, what is going on? And she's like, oh, you have eczema. This is what you do. Okay, fine. I found out through that experience and through working with my dermatologist that I was not properly protecting my skin and getting the moisture barrier right. I, was slapping on Vaseline Intensive Care because that's the lotion that we grew up with, and that's in the yellow bottle, and that's what I've always used and just never thought anything about it. And also I would kind of skip past other moisturizers because I thought they were too expensive, and they were. Let's be real. In my early 20s, I think I was making like $28,000 a year was my salary. So a girl was making it through however she could, so I ain't had no money for anything extra. But I did have money for things like, Vaseline, less expensive moisture protecting type products that really helped me out quite a bit. But nevertheless, the principles that I started using then are the same principles that I use now. The products may have shifted and changed. And I'll tell you what I used to do then versus what I do now as I kind of go through this process. The actual products may have changed, but the process is still the same. So that's what I really want to focus on. So first of all, when I get out of the shower, and mind you, if you have dry skin and if you have eczema, you probably already know we're not supposed to be taking hot showers. We're not supposed to be taking those boiling hot showers. You know the ones that we love. I personally cannot give them up. I will say that on most days I use my shower is hot. It's not boiling hot. On days like today where it's literally 20 degrees outside, my shower was boiling hot. But I did that hot shower recognizing that my shower tomorrow will not be as hot. And also, getting out of the shower today, I have to be very quick with getting my products on to make sure that I'm not losing quite as much moisture from my skin. So what do those products look like? For me, I'm going to explain these to you in the order in which I have them. The order in which I use them. So the first thing that I'll show to you is this Aveeno, what is it called? Daily Moisturizing Body Oil Mist. That's not the oil that's in this bottle. I'm not sure what the oil that's in this bottle because I have brain fog and I've forgotten which oil is inside the bottle. It's not the Aveeno oil. So I'm really just using the bottle. I have used this oil before. For whatever reason, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's not a bad oil. I think it's a good product. It's just not for me. So when I ran out of the actual product in this bottle, I liked the spray on it. So I kept the bottle and just refilled it with another oil, but I can't remember for the life of me at the moment what oil that it is. And it's not like a mixture, a DIY cocktail of oils. It's, you know, maybe it's Taraji P. Henson's oil. I don't know. It's a body oil. I don't know whose oil it is. But the reason that I have this specifically, I don't use this all over my body. Because it has a spray, it allows me, because I cannot reach with my shoulders aren't flexible enough for me to reach all areas of my back. I will take this like so and spray my back with oil. So that way I can make sure that my back is coated. That's my back spray. Then I get into kind of the L, if you will. So if any of you have natural hair or you understand the natural hair process, there is this technique called the LOC method, which stands for lotion, oil, and cream. And it's a method that you use for hydrating your hair, properly protecting your hair, moisturizing it so that it stays healthy and bouncy and hydrated and so on. I use the same principle for my body. So I use this CeraVe moisturizing cream. Now, I used to pass by this in the store and think to myself, who in their right mind is spending this kind of money on a moisturizer? Who? Not me. I ain't doing it. Who? But when I tell you, so my dermatologist recommended this to me and she gave me some samples and I sure enough fell in love with it. So I can actually use this all over my body and I can use it on my face. So if my skin is extra dry on my face, I, in a heartbeat, pull this out and use it. And by the way, if you want to try it out and not pay for the big tub that costs, I think this tub costs somewhere between $16 and $20. And it takes me about 2 months to go through this. You can also purchase a smaller size. This is great for travel, obviously, because it's just under 2 ounces. I can only find this at my local Ulta. I don't know why I can't find it anywhere else, but in my area, Ulta is the only place I'm going to get this. This guy runs $7. I cringe every time I buy this because that's a lot of money, in my opinion, for 2 ounces worth of a moisturizer. But my skin has not been better since I've been using this. So once I've sprayed my back with oil, I take this all over. Now, before I was using this expensive, I would consider a more expensive cream, I was using Lubriderm, the Lubriderm that's in the kind of burgundy packaging, because they have like an intensive care and a medium care and all that kind of stuff. Whichever one is in the burgundy, which was like the highest level of moisturization, that's the one that I used to use. I used to swear by it religiously until my current dermatologist turned me on to this. And like I said, it's a wonderful cream. I actually need to re-up on it, but she works wonderfully and beautifully to moisturize and hydrate my skin. It absorbs right away. So I take this all over my body, anywhere that I can reach. This gets a coat of this, okay? So once I've finished with my lotion, the L, I get into either the oil or the cream, depending on my mood, depending on what's going on outside. So I have a number of oils here because today I did oil and then I did cream. This is my lotion. And not to be confused with the fact that technically this is considered a cream or called a cream as it says on the jar. I use this as my lotion. Next up is my oil. And this seems like a lot, I know, but it takes me literally 90 seconds to go through this whole routine because I've been doing it since my 20s, so I'm used to it. Once you figure out your process, it doesn't take long at all. All right, so Weleda has their oil here. If you'll remember on my last video on my haul, I showed you this guy. I'm pretty sure I did. This is the goat. So if you, sorry, I'll tell you that later. This is an oil that I use. It's intended for, no, this isn't the one. There was one that was like So this comes in in 2 or 3 different flavors. There's a pink one that's more rose scented. This one is more, it's got sea buckhorn extracts. I don't know what it's supposed to do, but it's hydrating and it's nourishing. And I put this all over my body as well. And I will honestly, I will go between a few things. So there's this guy as my oil. I will also use, if I'm interested in using something that has a fragrance in it, which technically, if you're dealing with eczema, you should not be using things with fragrance. It just, you do what's best for your body. I will use one of these. I have really been in love with these, and honestly, my husband loves the smell of this. This is their Tropic Glow. You can find this at a number of stores. I usually get it at Ulta. But this has guarana extract, capuasu butter, and pistachio oil. And I don't know what it's supposed to do. All I know is that it's an oil, and it does a great job of, coming on top of this and kind of sealing this in so that it can't escape. So I will always put an oil on after my cream. So lotion, oil, and again, I use a variation of oils depending on my mood. Either this guy or this guy, which is the same as this guy, just different scent. This is the Tropic Glow. This is the Ocean Glow. The Ocean Glow has green microalgae, seaweed, and shea butter. This, in terms of like functionality and the same and value, same exact thing. The only difference that I notice is the fragrance, honestly. So I will use oil. Also, I have this body oil gel. This is Walmart brand. It's their brand, their version of the Vaseline oil gel. Yeah, they have a cocoa butter oil gel, and this is the Walmart version of it. This smells very yummy to me. It is fragranced. It kind of smells like a cookie, but not like sugary. It's very hard to describe, but it smells great. Yeah, it's got cocoa seed butter and fragrance. Again, fragrance is not the best for dry itchy skin, so I'm breaking a lot of rules here, but it is what it is. So lotion, one of my oils that I'll use depending on my mood. I don't use all of these at the same time. I'll use just one, and I will put the oil all over my body. Wherever I put this, I will then put the oil. Okay. The next thing that I will do is I will use a cream, and the cream is intentionally heavier than anything. It's the heaviest thing that I put on. So one could say that in terms of intensity and thickness of product, you go from lightest to heaviest, because of course, if you put your heaviest thing on first, the lighter items like this won't have a chance to penetrate through the skin or get to the skin. So the cream that I use today, this, and again, it varies. This guy, I actually picked this up at a vendor market that I was at. This is Berenu. I cannot pronounce this. I'm butchering it. That is what this is. This is a shea butter. It's a blended shea butter. And it smells like peaches and cream. And I love it. I do. You can see I've dug significantly into it. Use whatever shea butter that you like. I have found that the shea butter that's by Shea Moisture in particular, no ma'am. If it's not thick like this, it's not shea butter. And some would argue that this isn't thick enough as well. If you buy like pure, like raw shea butter, it is super heavy, super thick. This is a whipped product that I can easily, kind of grab up with my nail here. But you need something super heavy, because what you're trying to do is trap all the goodness into your skin so that it doesn't have a chance to escape. And you can even just see right now how much coverage I got on that shea butter that I just put on my hands. It is the truth. So, if I don't use this, there are other shea butters that I've used in the past. I'll actually link one below that I have my daughter using. And it works really well for her skin. So shea butter, highly recommend. If you don't have shea butter, I picked this up at, the jury is out on this one, so this was an impulse buy at TJ Maxx. So I'm not necessarily going to recommend this, but it's a body butter. whatever. If not shea butter, Vaseline. Straight up Vaseline. So everywhere that you can reach, put this, followed by your oil, followed by your cream, excuse me, or the thickest product that you have to cover. And Vaseline is perfectly fine. Or CeraVe makes a healing ointment that is, you know, fabulous as well. That is what kind of goes on top of everything and seals everything in. And when I tell you, you are soft and hydrated for the whole, like for the next 24 hours, you were good. And it's funny because my husband, you know, just a while ago, he was just like, man, your skin is so soft. It's always been so soft. What is it that you're doing? Like, what's your secret? And I'm like, bro. And when I had to call him out on it, because he used to tease me in my early 20s, early 30s. He's like, why are you putting so much stuff on? And what, this, like, you have 15 step, just get out of the shower. It paid off. It totally paid off because the hydration is 100% there. The quality of my skin has been fabulous. So I highly recommend you find whatever process works for you, because adapting the LOC method, lotion, oil, cream, has been like 100% for me all day and all night. So again, I'll link all these products below. So if you want to kind of take a look at them, pick them up, by all means, go for it. This moisturizing oil mist, as I mentioned, you know, I'm really just using this for the spray, but try the oil. Try the oil. You might like it. I think for me, it felt a little bit too light, but it's a good product. And can you use this all over your body instead of using like this kind of oil? Sure, absolutely you can. If I'm in a pinch, this will go all over on top of my lotion. So figure out what works for you. And as well, consider that, you know, varying up the process may work better for you. For example, maybe you start with your oil, followed by your lotion, followed by your cream. Or, you know, maybe you do your oil right as you're coming, right while you're in the shower, and kind of rinse off the excess. In the summertime, I have been known to skip the cream because sometimes it gets a little bit too heavy for me. So it just depends. Because in the summertime, I'll do lotion, oil, and then sunscreen on top. I should be using sunscreen year-round on my full body, and I don't. I use it year-round on my face, but not my full body. Pray for me, I'm working on that. So yeah, that's what I do. So I hope that helps. Comment down below. Is there anything that you do that's special or particular this time of year to kind of help keep your skin together? Because, you know, it can be, the skin can get, you know, definitely a beating out there in these cold, wintry streets. And again, I'm in Charleston, so it doesn't typically get super cold here. If you live in like Chicago or Ontario or any number of other places where, you know, it actually really does get super cold, I can't imagine what you do. Because it can be a lot. It can be a lot. But like I said, you know, following this routine and following this method has been tried and true for me for almost 2 decades now. I will continue to do it because it's working. My eczema is very well managed, very well controlled, even to the point where clearly I can use things that have fragrance in them and it doesn't bother me. But I also know that if I have some sort of flare-up, then I go back to the drawing board and I get rid of anything that has a fragrance to it. And sometimes it's literally just me using CeraVe cream and Vaseline, and that is it until the flare-up is gone, and then I can get back to the things that I enjoy using that have been working for me. So, like I said, I'll link all this below. Give it a try. See if that helps you with your skin, because it's a lot. And I'll plug again, this Welleda Skin Food is the absolute GOAT. Before I go outside, I always apply this. And again, she ain't cheap. She's not cheap. This little tube costs, I think, $17, $19, something like that. But it is 100% worth it. And if this isn't in your price point, if this isn't in your budget, totally get it. Get you some Vaseline. If nothing else, Vaseline always works. You can never, ever, ever doubt Vaseline's effectiveness. That's always an option. But this is bomb. And in fact, there has been a time when I've used this all over my body or specifically use it on my feet when my feet have been really dry and just needed a lot of TLC. But again, because this is so expensive, I mean, this costs the same as this, so, or actually a little bit more. So it's relative. So I use it sparingly, and I specifically keep it for my hands because my hands do get so crazy chapped in the wintertime. And this year, I've had no hand chap. Nothing. Nothing. I am just, it works. It absolutely works. Usually this feels like an alligator skin. Just the backs of my hands specifically, but I don't get that with using this guy. So I'm very, very excited about this. And there's a smaller version. If you shop Whole Foods, there is a smaller version of this that you can use as like a trial, you know, just to see if it works for you, if you like it. But, you know, highly recommend, if you can find a sample, get a sample. You know, I'll link all this below. Anyway, thank you so much for being here and for watching and checking this out. I hope you have a wonderful evening, morning, wherever you are. For me, it's the evening. I'm going to bed very soon. But, you know, the weather out there is frightful. But the fire is so delightful. Let it snow, right? Have a wonderful evening. Thank you again for joining. Please be sure to hit that like button and add a comment down below. I'm curious to know what you do for your skin during the winter months to kind of keep it, you know, in check, keep it together, keep it smooth, keep it soft, keep it supple, keep it whatever, you know, makes sense for you. So take care, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.